Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm gonna show you how to make a Mongolian beef. It's got a really nice sticky, gooey, oozy sauce. Plus, it's gonna have onions, which is a must because these onions will soak up the sauce and just make it really tasty. This is one beef stir fry that if you're like a total beef lover, you're gonna really like this recipe. All right, so let's get to it. Right here is 500 grams of beef. For this dish, you should get the best beef that you can afford. Right here is 500 grams of ribeye. So you can use ribeye, you can use sirloin, or even flank steak. Now, as you can see, there is not a lot of ingredients involved. There is a sauce component, which I will show you later. But let's first start by marinating our meat. I like to cut my beef about a quarter inch thick. And you definitely want to make sure that you cut all your beef about the same size. This way, they'll cook at the same time. Now here's a tip. Now if you're using a cheap cut of beef, what you can do is you can add like maybe a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of baking soda and just rub it into the beef and just leave it alone for like about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And the baking soda is gonna help soften up the beef. But since this beef is a tender cut already, I don't need to add any baking soda at all. So for the beef marinade, I'm gonna need, if I can open up my Shaoxing wine here. What is going on? I can't open this. The hell? The heck happened here? Ah, there it goes. As I was saying, I need a tablespoon of Chinese cooking wine. And this is 2 teaspoons of pure sesame oil. 1, and then add a big dash of ground white pepper. This is about half a teaspoon. And just get in there and mix it up. Make sure that all the meat has contact with the Shaoxing wine and the sesame oil and the ground white pepper. So just to clarify, this is something that's not normally made at a Chinese household. You would have to go to an American Chinese fast food restaurant to find this. Why is it named Mongolian beef? Even though it doesn't come from Mongolia, nobody knows, but it tastes good, so who cares, right? Okay, that's done. And now I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of corn flour. Again, making sure that all of your beef has a coating of corn flour. So just toss it with your hands for just a few minutes. Okay, that's done. So I'm gonna stick this in the fridge for about 10 minutes. All right, so let's get to the stuff that's gonna give our Mongolian beef its extra flavor. I have here about 15 grams of ginger. This is about like a 1-inch nub. Gonna peel off most of the skin. Beef, ginger, and garlic. Classic combination. You can never go wrong. Just gonna give the ginger a fine mince. This is about 1.5 tablespoons of ginger. And now we just need equal amounts of garlic. And mince these up finely as well. All right. And now for the onion. Onions for this dish is a must. When you're going grocery shopping to make this dish, make sure you put a big asterisk for onions because you cannot forget this. Because onions are great flavor absorbers. And when you have a really nice sauce and it gets soaked into these onions, I'm telling you, it's like magic. And for the onions, I just like to cut them into little thin strips. Put these away. All right, and right here I have 2 stalks of spring onions. Just give these a chop. All right, and then there's also some dried chilies. I'm just gonna take the stems off. I'm gonna leave the seeds inside. All right, and now for the sauce. I'm still crying from the onions. Okay, sauce time, right? This is 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And we need 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce. This dark soy sauce is gonna give the beef a really dark, rich color. This is a tablespoon of rice vinegar. You can also use white vinegar if you want. And just 2 teaspoons of pure sesame oil. And finally, just 2 tablespoons of water. And then just mix it up. Okay, so we are gonna fry this beef. I'm gonna fry it in batches because it is a lot of beef. Anyways, how do you know if this oil is hot enough for frying? Well, we gotta heat the oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. What you do is you stick a wooden chopstick or spatula down the center, and if the oil starts to immediately fizz around the chopstick, you know that your oil is hot enough for frying. And you just want to fry it until it's about 3/4 of the way done, which is pretty fast because the oil is hot and the meat is cut thin, right? Okay, on a clean pan, I cleaned out the pan and I dropped in my garlic and my ginger plus my onions. Cook it on a medium heat, just until the onions have softened a little bit. Just like that, you see? Soft, right? Okay, now I'm gonna chop in my beef, the dried chilies, and just mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna lower the heat down to a medium low. And I'm gonna drop the sauce. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it smells so good. Make sure all the beef and the onions is covered with this delicious sauce. Oh, check that out. All right, drop in the spring onions. Flip off the heat. I am so excited to show you all my Mongolian beef. Oh, check that out. Oh. Oh man, I'm telling you, I know I always say like, wow, this smells so good. I'm telling you, this really does smell so good. There's just no other way to describe it. Take out my chopstick. dig in. Big chunky beef. Wow. Gotta go in for the all-important onion. The beef is so nice and tender, and it's perfectly cooked. It's a little bit salty, a little bit sweet. It's a pretty good balance for the beef. As always, folks, I do deliveries. I take Bitcoins and Camels as payment.